guys, Land to Ghost here, Iva.
Kaitlyn.
We are here today to talk to all of our sellers. Have you been thinking about selling? And is it upsizing or downsizing?
Today's video is going to be all about upsizing. So if you are downsizing, make sure you look for our next video.
So all of our upsizers, honestly, I get it. Because oof, I feel like I have too much stuff and I have a toddler and
you're about ready to upsize yourself.
Yeah, and it hasn't been that long, right?
No.
So if we have another kid, I definitely need more room. So
that's a good point. When you're upsizing, I think it's really important to think about what is your motivation. Are you buying a new home because you're having a new kid?
Yeah.
Are you buying a new home because maybe your kids need more space?
Yeah.
There's a lot of different factors and moving parts that go into it. And I think it's really important to understand and also let your realtor know what your true motivation is, because it really makes a difference when we're helping you look for a home.
Absolutely. And there's things that I'll suggest, right? If there's garage storage and different types of storage that you can add that maybe you're not quite ready to sell your home. So it's you know what, let's try to add some different storage to your house and we'll talk about selling at another point. Or we're no, we need at least 300 more square foot. These kids are driving me nuts. Their stuff is everywhere.
They need their own space.
Yeah. And probably a bigger yard. It's always a bigger yard. These kids, they never have room. It's never enough. But no, honestly, me too. I want to have a garden and I want to do different things. So I think honestly establishing that and to where you know that you can do that at the next place too. So if you're thinking about gardens and stuff, you want to talk to the HOA about it. So you should write out a list and be what are my true motivations, and talk about them with your agent so they can help you decide where is best, and then also referring you to a lender so you can talk about what price is best.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Because a lender is going to help you with your game plan as far at not just what you can afford, right? But maybe they have different options for you.
Yeah.
Maybe do you need to sell your home in order to buy? Do you not need to sell your home? Do you plan to sell your home, but the lender may have an option for you to where you can still go ahead and buy without selling yet? Or maybe you don't need to sell your home and you're going to rent it out and buy something new. Yeah. And being transparent with that, with the lender, also is going to help you come up with that game plan. Absolutely.
You want to think about equity. You want to think about, the upgrades that you've done. You want to think about, if you're investing, is the next place just a little bit of a move up because it's not your forever home?
That's something important to say too. That I had that thought a second ago and lost it. So I'm so glad you touched on that, because I was sitting here in my brain trying to get it back.
I pulled it from her.
But yeah. So your first home can literally be your starting home. Yeah. This can be your house to build your equity and get you to the next place. Mm-hmm. So many people think when they buy a home, this is my forever home and this has to be perfect. But that's not necessarily the case. It is okay to upsize. It is okay to need more space, and it is okay to grow.
I will say the emotional ties too, because when you've lived in this home, you've done upgrades,
you've built these memories.
Yeah, it's hard to let go. And I think you also have to think about it from a financial point of view, and a comfortable point of view. And maybe your jobs have changed. Typically, life happens where you're getting job upgrades or pay upgrades or different things, and your finances have changed. Maybe at first this was hard to afford, but now it's hey, we're paying our mortgage and we have plenty of money, and that's great. Sometimes you just stay there and we have our extra money and that's it. But sometimes you need more space.
You need to change.
Yeah, you need change. And maybe even just a different side of town, right?
Yeah, maybe you hate your neighbors.
Yeah.
Maybe you hate the neighborhood. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe you're in an HOA and it was amazing when you first got there, and now there's new management and they're the devil. Who know?
Yeah. Things change.
And it's okay.
Yeah. You change, we grow. And I think that's a huge thing is a lot of people aren't always prepared for that or think about that.
Yeah.
So, and then if you're thinking about it from an investment point of view, and maybe you're only able to afford a little bit bigger house, that's okay, because you rent out the first one, you get that rental income, and then you go to the next one and you do the same until you get to a bigger house. Or you sell them both and you pull out your equity, and that's like a retirement or stocks or whatever. You know, if you have a financial planner, like they'll kind of guide you too, as far as where do we put that money? What is best? You know, so definitely also keep a lender, financial advisor, those things in mind too, because I think that's just as important.
Yeah. And I think too, with upsizing, along with knowing your motivation, right? Really think about it. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, in 10 years?
Yeah.
Because if you are upsizing, is this home how long do you plan to be in this home that you're about to buy? Yeah. Is it for just another 5 years so the kids go off to college? Is it for the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? And will this house accommodate all of those phases of life?
Yeah.
Or is this just the next stepping stone until you get to the next one? And is this going to be one, like she was touching on investing, is this going to be one that you plan to rent out later in the future? So there's other factors to consider if it is.
Yeah.
Maybe if you know that in 10 years you're going to turn around and rent this home out, maybe that makes you choose a little bit of a different home based on neighborhood or different.
Yeah, or upgrades that you can do if you can get a good deal and like use some of the equity, not all of your equity to buy the house, but also update the house. Then you're also going to get even more equity on top of that. So there's different ways, like different people want to take on different things, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's mainly like, are you tired of your current home? And what is the next path forward? I think that's super, like those are the first two questions you need to ask yourself.
Yeah.
And then obviously, how much equity do you have? And that's when a realtor comes into time. Like we're like, hey, maybe we're not ready to sell yet. Like we don't want sales pitch. We just want to know, what is our home worth? Is it worth it? Maybe we wait another year.
Yeah.
Maybe our job is changing and we're moving out of Jacksonville. So we're going to wait that year and then sell and buy in somewhere else. We help people with that as well, not just coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah, we help people who are leaving all the time too.
Yeah.
And with that being said, okay, so now you know your motivation. Now you know exactly what you want, all of those things. But what does the timeline look like for you?
Yeah.
Do you just put your house up for sale and then already start looking for the next one? Do you wait? Like, how does that work? How does that look?
So, and that's consult with your agent, see what it's worth, and then we're also gonna talk to you about, hey, maybe you paint your walls. Maybe you know, do a deep clean because it's a house.
Yeah.
You live in it.
Well, and that's a good thing too, I think, to really ask an agent about, because a lot of times the upgrades that you may think you need to make, you don't actually need to make. That's not necessarily what's going to help you get a better return on your investment, right?
Yeah. Or maybe you do need to do the updates. I mean, that's on the other hand, like maybe you do need to put a little love into the house.
Maybe there's a list this long of updates that need to be done, and we can help you zero in on 2 or 3 that really matter.
Yeah, and pricing accordingly. So you know, depending on, hey, we found the house we love already, like let's go make an offer on it. Like, okay, well, we need to price so it'll sell fast. You know?
Yes, and that's what I wanted to touch on with the timeline stuff is you do need to think about that. Like, what is my timeline for moving? Because that will determine how aggressively or competitively you price your home at. Yeah. Can you afford to price your home super competitive and aggressive or not? Yeah. That's going to depend on a lot of different factors. And again, that's where you need to build a game plan with the lender, because if you don't need to sell your home first, then absolutely go shopping. Go find that next house. But if you do need to sell your home before you buy, I wouldn't jump into trying to make an offer on something until you're actually under contract.
I will say, so yes, but I will say sometimes you already know, like maybe you live in a neighborhood and you love it and you know your neighbor's going to sell and they have that 5-bedroom instead of the 4-bedroom. sometimes there's things that can be, you know, let's talk to the lender. Let's see what we can do. Then let's see, like, hey, maybe like the agent knows them and they're going to talk to them like, we really want to buy it. Like, this is our time frame. Maybe you can work that out, or different things. Like, sometimes you do know, but like she said, don't rush it. So,
because that's just going to stress you out.
Yeah, it always does. It stresses us out too.
Yeah. Because even though we sound calm, cool, and collected when we're talking to you, as soon as we get off the phone, we're like,
Kaitlyn, help! No, I mean, it's just, it happens all the time. And it's hard not to. But you also want to proactively look, because if you don't love the neighborhood you're in, then you want to start looking in different areas of town.
Yeah. You
want to start looking, you know, maybe don't fall in love with the house. Maybe don't go house shopping yet, but go drive around different neighborhoods.
And zero in on where you want to be.
Yeah.
And like she was saying, write down your list of motivations. I think it's also an important thing to write down your wants and needs.
Yeah. And what is obviously need this and want this, but where are we willing to
give a little?
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, when you are looking at those more expensive houses, it is scary. You want everything to be perfect and all of the things, but sometimes you also have to, like, you know, wiggle a little bit. Maybe it doesn't have the full yard that you want, but the house is everything you need. So you have to kind of like think about that. And again, you can always build equity, stay here for 5 years.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of when we see that equity really start to be larger sums.
To really jump.
Yeah.
The biggest noticeable or most noticeable
jump.
Year, I feel like, would be year 5.
Yeah. So you kind of take that, all of that information, and that's when you build the game plan with the lender and with your agent. And again, the hardest thing is going to be not falling in love with that bigger, most beautiful house until your house is under contract. And then once this house is under contract, you have 2 moving parts. And so you have a timeline here and you have a timeline here. And while they're in sync, they're not directly related.
Yeah, and they don't always match up.
Yeah.
So that's important too. That's realizing there is so many moving parts when it comes to buying and selling.
I had a seller. She moved up. She got a nice yard. She got an extra bedroom. But she had to stay in an Airbnb that was small, but it was affordable for a month because it was new construction. The new construction wasn't ready, you know. So there was a fee for that as well. But she happily paid it because she loves her new house.
She was going to.
Yeah. And so she's like, even though this is uncomfortable, I'm stressed out about it. I know, like, the long-term picture is much better.
I think that's really important that a lot of people don't think about is a lot of times there is a gap. You're not going to close on the house you're selling and the house you're buying in the same day always.
Yeah.
So what does that look like for you? Do you have money put aside to stay in an Airbnb, or maybe you do a rent back situation with whoever's buying your home, if that's possible?
Yeah.
You know, hotel, family, what does that look like? But make sure you have a game plan for however many days could be in between.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe that's when you're looking at negotiations. Also, the realtor is aggressive about that. You know, hey, we need a lease back, or we need more time. We need a
longer close.
Yeah. And me personally, I like to do, you know, if you can, a shorter inspection period, because we recommend that you do a pre-listing inspection. So any surprises come
you
up.
Already know.
So we ask them, hey, and we'll even provide you with the inspection report you have. Please do your own inspection, but can we do a 7-day inspection period? Because we want you to be out of this inspection period where they can walk at any time for any reason. So then your offer is stronger on the other. Does that happen all the time? No. Is that always realistic? No. But that's in a perfect, pretty Iva world.
So we all like to live in.
Yes. But, you know, that's the goal, because that you want, when your purchase contract is contingent upon the sale of your house, it does, if you're in a multiple offer situation,
it could make or break the deal.
It could. And so that's the other point. Like, don't 100% fall in love, because the house that's yours, it will find its way.
Yeah.
It will. And kind of, you want to just make sure you're staying on top of your timelines, your realtor is staying on top of your timelines. Know your timelines, even as a seller, because you want to know, hey, I have to be out of this house and make sure it's cleaned like a day before closing. So that means, you know, maybe I have to stay in an Airbnb or put my stuff in storage to make sure it's ready for the buyer.
That is such a good point.
Yeah.
When you're selling or buying, they have a final walkthrough, right? So if you say you close Friday, your buyers who are buying your home are probably going to do a final walkthrough on Thursday to make sure the home is ready for them to take possession of Friday, which means everything you have has to be out of that house and it's got to be clean, ready to go for the buyers.
Yeah.
So if you're not closing until tomorrow on your new home too, then you need to have a plan for that.
Yeah, maybe you do a storage, and maybe, you know, because you are bursting at the seams at your current house, maybe at the beginning of listing you get a storage. While that is a cost, it's going to help us stage your house.
Yeah.
We can stage it while you're living there. It's like light staging, but you know, you do have to, while listing your home, make sure it's maintained. It's going to feel like an Airbnb, like you're not living in your own house.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it is soon going to be somebody else's house, and you're moving on to your house. So maybe you kind of start the prep and, you know, put stuff in storage or at friends or families.
That's another important thing to touch on is like decluttering when you're still living in a home that you have listed.
Yeah.
Depersonalizing and decluttering are so big and so important because you want any buyer that walks through that door to walk in that door and be able to picture themselves and their family in your home.
Yeah.
They don't need to see your pictures and your style, and it needs to be as like.
That's why we recommend that you also, if it's needed to paint, we recommend you do a neutral color.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be a trendy color because not everybody's going to love those colors, you know. So you kind of have to, like, you know, sometimes it's gray or white, you know, but white's easiest to cover up for them later too. So as long as it's neutral, simple, the same with all, you know, any of your. Honestly, I wouldn't want people looking at my son's pictures, like strangers I don't know. You know, so like some of that too is like, make sure your jewelry isn't in the house, make sure there's no medicines, like you can keep them in a lockbox, because this is a process, you know, and your agent will absolutely walk you through that. And
I would even say like your mail, like I wouldn't leave my mail out on the counter. I would have that put up somewhere because I don't want everybody walking in my house knowing my full name and where I just got, you know, bills from or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is very overwhelming.
Yes.
Your first time selling a house is going to be probably the most overwhelming, emotionally, and then you're stressed out. You know, you have to keep your house clean all the time. I have a toddler that destroys everything. So like, I'm going to be cleaning 800 times a day. And it's going to be a lot, but it's going to be worth it when you're in your new house. You know, you're going to be so happy. You move in, you get pizza the first night, and you're like, what happened? I forgot. I forgot. Maybe not, but. Something else I want to talk about, because it can happen, and with those timelines, what if your buyer walks on your house?
Yeah.
You're under contract. You know, we've had that happen recently, and they weren't able to purchase their new house because a buyer had walked on a contract. And I mean, it was very unfortunate, you know, but it does happen. And so I think
always be prepared for every scenario.
Yeah.
When you're working with your realtor, these are questions you need to ask. Do you have game plans for this? Ask your realtor, like stay on top of your realtor. Do you know what our timelines are? Tell me my timeline.
Yeah.
Have we made it through this period, or have we made it through this deadline?
Yeah.
Where are we at in the contract right now?
Yeah. Always making sure your agent's keeping you up to date. And I would go as far as to say, put their timelines in your calendar as well as your timelines. Because like, again, they're in sync. They don't necessarily affect each other, except you're going to lose this house if this one walks, but it doesn't affect the buyer. He walks and he gets his binder and
good to go.
Yeah. As long as it's a clean contract, all the things.
But now you're sitting here potentially losing your next home. So I think that's also one of those things, right? Like, when do you put in an offer on your next home? Like at what stage?
Yeah.
And then sometimes maybe you made it through that inspection period, but the buyer walks for some other reason. Maybe the financing falls through.
Financing falls through regularly. I mean, things happen. Obviously, trying to find another lender, right? We always try to problem solve before it gets, but we're talking worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's just being prepared for.
Yeah.
any of the routes that it could
Anything.
go.
Absolutely. And that's where also a lender comes into play, because if you don't have to sell your home, or able to do a different type of loan or a different program to where you can still keep your house, I mean, that's win-win, right?
Yeah. And there's so many programs out there.
Yeah. I feel like in different states have different things. So this is in Florida. We know that there are different programs. I don't know about, anywhere else, but I'm sure that there's absolutely programs to help make sure you're on track. Because we don't want to crush your dreams. We don't want to lose this house.
We want it to work out.
Yeah, every time. But things happen, deals go bad. So you have to be prepared. And so don't pay the movers yet. No, but you can start moving. Don't put yourself you're always worried or you're always behind because you're well, we're waiting on their inspection period. No, you still need to be proactive, boxing stuff. And I would even go as far as to say is hey, this house didn't work out. Is there another one?
Do I have a backup?
Yeah, maybe that I would consider, or I know this area is for sure, or so you can narrow back down. Or maybe you need a break from listing your house because it's been stressful and you're okay, I'm gonna take a break and we're gonna come back to market, in a few months, and maybe we make the updates that we skipped out on, because sometimes that happens too.
And let's switch now to maybe you don't need to sell your home and maybe you're gonna rent it. Mm-hmm. What that looks like if you're just renting and then buying. I would always going to say this, talk to your lender. If you don't have a lender, ask us for one and we'll help you find a lender. Mm-hmm. But it is so important to have the lender on the front end of things and not on the back end of things.
Yeah.
Because if they know your plan and what you want to do and what your goals are, I promise you they can have tips and suggestions that you've probably not even thought about that could really help you.
Yeah. I will say the game plan from start to finish is the most important. With your agent, with your lender, you need to make sure they're in sync and you're in sync with them. You need to make sure you have a game plan from start to finish as far as staging, pictures, videos, open houses. When are they doing it? What do I need for that? Because you do have an obligation as a seller. It's not all on the agent. The agent's not going to come clean your house. The agent's not going to upgrade your house for you. The agent is just here to help you sell your house at the best possible price in the way that you have it. So while it's on market, you have to think about things. What if your AC goes out? Or, that's a cost. That's not on anybody. It's still your home until it is completely transferred title to somebody else.
Yeah.
So making sure that you know all of that. And again, different states, you also want to make sure your agent, maybe you're moving to Florida, so you want to make sure your agent is talking to your other agent. You want to make sure that everybody's all on the same timeline,
all on the same team,
same game plan. You don't want information here not relayed here, and then you're what? Their house didn't sell. We didn't know this.
Oopsie.
Yeah. Well, now you can't close on this house, right? So there is a lot of moving parts. And at the end of the day, it's just being informed, I think.
Yeah.
And if you feel hey, this resonated with us, but we want more information on it, whether it's timeline or investing, reach out to us. We're more than happy to address any concerns, help you list your house, or help you find an agent in your state or your county that, maybe matches what you want and need out of an agent, because every agent is also different.
That's a very good point. Yeah. So even if you're not in Florida or you're not in the Jacksonville mm-hmm. area, fun fact about us is we can help match you with an agent mm-hmm. anywhere in the United States.
Yes. We're part of several different communities that have agents. And
that we meet, have worked with,
yeah,
know personally, like have talked to on the phone or seen in person. Mm-hmm. This isn't just like me getting on Google and saying like, who's best agent here? This is, no, we actually have relationships with these people.
Referrals are a huge part of our business, and that includes to agents in other states, because as much as we'd love to do every state ever.
But again, like we said, we do deal with a lot of relocators, people who are either relocating here from another state and they need help there, and we've built a relationship with the agent at the state they're moving from, or people who are leaving here and going to another state, and so we built a relationship with the agent where they're moving to. So all over, we got you.
We got you. We got your back.
We got your back.
Well, like, share, subscribe, follow, all of the things. Share with your friends. We will be doing another video about downsizing and some more property tours, so look forward to that.
And if you have anything specific, leave us a comment.
Yeah.